As I'm recording this video, AMC is actually trading above $60,000. Now, yesterday it did close beyond $61,000, and I made a video 2 or 3 weeks ago where I was, explaining why everyone should start investing in Bitcoin now. And back then, not AMC, actually AMC, Bitcoin was trading below the 50,000 mark. So it's crazy that in just 2 weeks' time, it has gained more than 20%. This is actually crazy. Now, in this video, I want to quickly cover, how you can still invest in Bitcoin without actually spending 60,000 freaking dollars. All right. Okay. So as you can see right now, this is the chart of Bitcoin, and some people maybe say, okay, it's now at $60,000. Is it not too late to buy Bitcoin at this point? And I will say no, simply no, because a lot of people are expecting Bitcoin to be ending or hitting $100,000 by the end of this year. And some people like Cathie Wood, the new, favorite CIO or CFO in Wall Street now, is also expecting or predicting the price of Bitcoin, which he's a big believer in, to hit $400,000, $500,000 each next year. And some experts also consider Bitcoin to be hitting the 1 million price in 10 years. That will be 1,000% gain if you bought now. More than 1,000% if you bought now. So it's not too late to buy, but there are still ways where you can invest in other assets that will give you a direct exposure to Bitcoin without actually having to hold or to own the token, the actual coin. So let's go over it. First of all, we have the individual stocks. Individual stocks, and there are plenty of them. There are plenty of them, but these that I'm sharing with you guys are the 3 or the 4 that I personally have on my watching list. First of all, it's Riot Stocks. So Riot Stocks is involved into blockchain. Company founded in 2000, and right now the share price is at $63. As you can see here, back in December it was trading at, November, it was trading at $6, and it went all the way up to $78. This is crazy. Just in few months, like in 2.5 months, this thing skyrocketed. Even Tesla didn't go as quick as this thing, So this is one of the individual stocks that will give you exposure to Bitcoin because they are involved into all the blockchain. And I don't want to get into all the details here behind the blockchain, guys, but just keep in mind that the technology behind Bitcoin is what we call blockchain. It's aimed to make information, and data transfer or travel way faster than it's actually being done in the financial sector today. Okay, so the other one, it's Canaan Inc. So ticker symbol CAN. Canaan Creative, it's a company involved into hardware manufacturing, and basically they do specialize in blockchain servers and ASIC and microprocessor solutions for use in Bitcoin mining. Founded in 2013, and right now the share price is around $35. But back in November, it was at $5 a share. Incredible, guys. The next one is SOS, SOS. So right now trading at $6.6, and this is also a company involved into the blockchain technology, but directly mining for Bitcoin. And if you look back where they were trading in December, less than $2, less than $2. And then went all the way at a point to $13. This is crazy. That was back in February 17. So all of these stocks are individual stocks that are companies that are directly involved into either mining Bitcoin or Ethereum, or developing hardware, software solutions for blockchains, but indirectly or at the end for Bitcoin, So these are individual stocks. There are plenty other of these, but again, as I mentioned earlier, these are my personal on my personal list, but there are plenty of them. Okay, now you can also get involved into a trust or an ETF or a fund. Okay, so a fund like the GBTC Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, this is one I actually own. I bought some of the shares of this back in January, and the reason why I bought this is because, first of all, this is the biggest holder in terms of trust of Bitcoin you can think of now. But also, Kathy Wood owns more than 7 million shares of this trust. She's the main shareholder of this thing, and she's a big believer of the Bitcoin being accepted as a form of payment, as maybe a new global currency, which some people will agree with that, some will not, but personally I do. So if you want to be, I think this is a great way of being exposed to Bitcoin without having to have the huge volatility of the other individual stocks. I mean, I'm not saying that you won't have volatility here, but it's at a lesser extent than the other three. The other three that I just shared. Again, was trading back in November around $18 a share and went all the way at a point to $57. And keep in mind that at this point, Bitcoin it's beyond $58,000. So if we get to 100,000, if we get to 500,000 within a few years, this can potentially be trading at $200 a share. Okay. All right, the next one is another ETF, which actually is from Canada. Purpose Bitcoin Canadian ETF Currency H. So this is a mutual fund or an ETF that, actually an ETF, not a mutual fund, an ETF that recently got the approval from the Canadian regulatory to actually be open to the market. So still at the very bargain price right now, where they are trading below the 12 Canadian dollars. As you can see right here, it's in Canada. Canadian dollars. But again, as Bitcoin will start to soar towards the 1,000, you can expect these to also be around maybe the 30 or the $40, but as the other stocks, other assets I just shared with you. So these are another way of, actually this one will give you a great exposure, but again, it's really at the bargain price as of now since it's just started. Okay, but it is not as big as the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust in terms of asset under management. Now, there are other assets in terms of blockchain ETF that you can buy in order to also be exposed to Bitcoin. So there are a huge list of them. I didn't want to go over the whole list. So these are the 4 that I selected. And the first one is Amplified Transformational Data Sharing ETF. This is the biggest in terms of total assets under management. And then you have Reality Shares Nasdaq Next Gen, First Trust Index and Process ETF. And then finally the KOIN ticker Innovation Shares Next Gen Protocol ETF. So they are different in terms of millions under management. This is basically the biggest one. But if you look at the price, they go from $40 to $68. So again, this is not far from either the Global Trust Fund right here or some of these stocks where they are also, except for SOS. But great way to actually invest in Bitcoin with spending just $50 in average. And then this is a bonus, so there are some other stocks that will expose you to Bitcoin because these companies right here are also involved into blockchain because they are already using blockchain as a technology, especially in the payment processing sector, the financial sector, or the technology sector. Companies like Nvidia, companies like CME Group, the world's largest futures and options exchange, companies like Square, IBM, MasterCard, which is now accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment, DocuSign, Amazon, and you also have Tesla, you also have PayPal, you also have Visa, you also have great investment banks like Morgan Stanley, like JP Morgan, like Bank of New York, who is now supposed to be the new custodian bank for Bitcoin transactions in the US. So these are huge companies making a ton of money every year, which are starting to invest. I'm not talking about millions, I'm talking about hundreds of billions of dollars into either Bitcoin or blockchain because they can see the potential of this getting as big as the internet bubble back in the 2000s. So definitely it will expose you to Bitcoin, but not as directly like these other ETFs, because the core business of these companies obviously is not blockchain or Bitcoin. It's just another segment, another branch or arm that just attached to the activities of the company moving forward. So definitely this is different ways where you can still invest into the Bitcoin without actually spending $60,000. In average, if you spend $50, you can still invest in Bitcoin and you will have the same volatility, you will have the same exposure, meaning whenever Bitcoin goes up, the stock price or the ETF price will go up, or if Bitcoin goes down, it will be the same because they follow the same pattern. All right, guys, this is what I had prepared for you. Keep in mind that Bitcoin is still a volatile asset, meaning it can go like 20-25% gain in one single day, and then the next day lose all those gains and go back down to maybe minus 10%. So just keep that in mind as you are planning to invest. But I think if you are in for the long term, as I am, right now Bitcoin is still below the 1,000. So I didn't have the chance to buy a coin when it was at $3,000 because I didn't really believe into the trend. But right now, where I'm seeing Bitcoin going mainstreams and the actual usage and the benefits and we can gain from these, especially in the financial sector and in technology, I'm definitely putting my bets into Bitcoin as a long-term investment. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.